No matter how hard you fight the darkness, every light casts a shadow, and the closer you get to that light, the darker the shadow becomes. Plato. I had to wonder what came first. A military corrupt enough to let a psychopath like Thorn in charge, or Thorn being able to spread her insanity so well that it corrupted the military. The fact that she had a bomb collar at the ready, and it was made by the Luna government, told me that it was both. Thorn had been able to bring a small army down here by teleporting her troops to Labs D directly, making the lockdown of the stable a fruitless effort. Meaning, many of the military ponies I saw at first had standard uniforms on, but further into the less than friendly crowd, combat armor became a more common sight. What struck me was how much the armor didn't look like military standard. The armor they had on looked well used, covered in scratches, dents, and some rust. But it was also painted over with loud colors, vulgar words, and kill counts. I didn't look twice to check, but I think some armor was adorned with bones. Stepping through the organized chaos, I could feel the humming and pulsing now, not just hear it. It all made me anxious, as though some force was closing in on me. "Hey, stable pony, let's have a quickie." The Pegasus mare in stripped-down combat armor walked in front of me. "I always get a bit antsy before a raid, and the blokes here like to bite back." She didn't blink once as she talked, giving me a good look at her eyes. Her pupils seemed a bit too small to be normal. Sorry, but Thorn wants me..." She hit me in the face with a hoof. "I said a quickie, not a damn marathon. Now get on your back," she growled as she talked. There was a laughter in the room that made my stomach churn. Laughter that suddenly cut off. Now, there will be plenty of time for that later. Do you understand, petty officer?" Thorn's voice cut through the room. Every pony had stopped to salute. The Pegasus mare had jumped back out of my way and saluted Thorn. "Ma'am, yes, ma'am." "Then carry on. You too, Slow Trot." I didn't look back or make much of a sound. I just pressed the rest of the group of insane Navy ponies. One big advantage for a stable, if it were to ever come under attack, was how easy it was to defend. The reason why Thorn's troops had not taken healing herbs was simply because every part of the stable was a bottleneck for the Navy ponies. The long hallway to where healing herbs had the bodies of Navy ponies and stable ponies littering the floor, bullet casings chattering and sloshing off my hooves, and every few steps I had to step over a body. Picking up a battle rifle, I checked my inventory to find that I still had the ammo I was given by Musket Ball. The ammo was called 308 JSP, handload, compared to the ammo the Navy ponies had, which was normal 308. I also checked the ammo on my pistol. It was called 45 Super Handload by the Pip Buck. So I put the battle rifle in my holster and slowly walked to what was now becoming a bright light. "Stay back! Or we'll shoot!" The light that was glaring into the hallway hid the pony who was shouting. His voice was an old stallion and had the thick accents of Prance. "Don't shoot! Look, he's one of us." This time it was the voice of a not as elderly mare, with the same thick Prance accent. "It's a trick, Maple Curie. You know it." "Then why don't we ask the buck, Hazel Berkert, unless you're willing to shoot him before finding out?" I cleared my throat to get their attention. "Sorry to interrupt. I need to talk with healing herbs. If I don't, Thorn is going to set off this bomb collar." I touched the collar of my pit buck, making a clanging sound. There was some sound of whispering before the stallion spoke up. "All right, but you leave that rifle with us." I pulled out the empty rifle and slid it to them. "Okay, now just walk slowly, no sudden moves." What had been blinding me was a bunch of floodlights attached to some spark battery. From all the broken glass littering the floor, the lights had been shot out a few times. Before Hazel was an old Earth Pony stallion, with an impressive beard, though didn't seem to have any kind of confidence holding a rifle that Musketball did. Maple Curie was a younger Earth Pony mare, but much older than me. A mare with a radiation suit on, covering all but her head. To the side was another Earth Pony stallion who was bandaged up and on the floor. He looked to be around the same age as Maple. Is he okay? I pointed my hoof to the stallion on the floor. It was not the most pressing problem, but the other two looked beyond worried. I thought that showing a little concern would help me trust them. Well, trust me more than having the bomb collar on. Hazel looked at the stallion and back to me. Hi, Curie. You'll be fine. Took a bullet about an hour ago. Got him patched up and told him to get some sleep. His wife here is not shut up about it for the whole hour. Maple then exchanged words with Hazel in the Prance language. I didn't know what they were saying, but both sounded stressed. During their argument, I took the time to glance around the room more. The three of them were the only living ponies in the room at the end of the hall. The door in the room looked firmly closed, with two terminals on either side. Where are the other ponies? Where's Healing Herbs? Hazel stopped his argument with Maple to sigh. She's on the other side of the door, but it is locked. We've been out here to die. Then there were others with us here, but those monsters shot them all when they tried to run for it. Can't we open the door? Hazel shook his head. Not without the pip buck of another member of the senior staff. I have one, but I'm only one pony. He waved his 3100 in an annoyed manner. How could they just leave us out here to die? Damn it. So close, yet so far. Or maybe not. Would June's pip buck work? June's? You mean the lead pip buck developer? If you have it, then... Oh my. Not June. Hazel's face drooped. This time, I was the one to sigh, pulling out June's pip buck from my leg. Thorn killed her when she was escorting me out of the stable. I came down here to get a pony from the senior staff. Some pony needs to take over the stable. I see, but with the Navy in the way, I don't see how it's possible. I looked over the door and tapped the bomb collar. Trust me, I don't see a way either. There's a way out of all this. It's in there. That's it. I hope that was a way out of here. After all the evils was released into the world, the only thing left was the pathos of hope. June's pip buck pulled through for us, just like a skeleton key. The door to the hallway closed, trapping us inside, and we were hit by the steam from all sides. Sanitation is what Mabel called it. A jet of steam hit my flank, and I nearly hit the ceiling. As we waited for the sanitation to pass, Hazel told me what his job was here. He oversaw most of the research into magical radiation, how to protect them from it, how to clean it. But it was Mabel who was the backbone of the research team, not only being one of the first to identify magical radiation, but also non-magical radiation. I asked, too, what non-magical radiation was, but most of the words they used to explain it I didn't understand. What I did understand was that, unlike magical radiation, non-magical radiation was much safer to work with, and had many potential applications. She also stated that it was a brand new field of science, so the long-term effects were still unknown, unlike that of magical radiation. For me, if I had the word radiation in it, I didn't want it near me. The steam stopped, and the doors made a soft hiss before opening. The humming and pulsing that were already loud, now up to an 11, along with the sound of cracking bolts of electricity. I had to shield my eyes from the overly lit room. That was overly made worse by the electric bolts. What was worst of all was the smell that hit me in the wall. To put it the best I can, it was the smell of ocean rot, mixed with sewage, chemical cleaner, and a hint of day-old burnt food. It was far worse than that. My stomach revolted. This was nothing left in me to puke. The others did the same, dry heaving before regaining their composure. The worst part of all of it was that I remembered this room. It was the room that Probator showed me when we first met. Standing at the center was Healing Herbs, the Pitbuck 2600 on her leg. She was glaring at me with burning gold eyes. The four of us pushed ourselves in, and the door shut itself behind us. Healing Herbs walked out to the center, putting on a cheerful smile. Up close, she looked a bit taller than I remembered, and a bit darker. Probator was not fooling me, but I might as well play along until we found a way to get out of here. Hazel said something to himself, and had the look of sheer disgust on his face. Stepping forward, we all followed behind him. Healing Herbs gave me a look of annoyance, then panned her eyes over to Hazel with a happier look before trotting over to him. Good to see you're alive, Hazel. I was worried. She looked over at the four of us. Where's Pine? She's dead, Herbs. You could have opened the door at any time, but you left us out there. What in Totaris is going on? Hazel stomped his hoof on the ground, and it echoed for seconds. Healing Herbs scrunched her face. What is going on is that we are trying to save the lives of every pony in Equestria. Not just Equestria, not just every pony. We will save many more. Soon, everything will return to how it should have been. No war, no death, no mega spells. Hazel took a deep breath, which resulted in him coughing as to how much foul air there was in here. So, you made this. It may not have been my area of profession, but it doesn't look. I'll take a mega spell expert to see what it is. What it is? Healing Herbs? Bringing back the dead? Neutralizing all magic? Or is it just a bigger mega spell bomb? That you are better than this? Healing Herbs laughed. The laugh echoed and warped. Better than this? This is why Stable-Tec took me in. They wanted their own mega spell, and I didn't just do it. I did better. I looked around the room. The laugh, it was like what I saw in the dream, except there were many unicorns standing around with their horns glowing, and the back half of a pony. It looked like the other half-dead mare in the lobby. Hazel and the other two had taken a step back. What did you make, Herbs? She rotated her hoof. Oh, nothing much. I just made a time-traveling megaspell. With it, I can jump into the past and prevent the war from ever happening. Impossible! Hazel looked confused and shocked. Healing Herb's horn lit up. Hazel found himself behind us. Not anymore. On time magic, on its own, is limited, but open a portal to a different world, and another portal from that world to go to the past of ours. Add some teleportation. She smiled. And you get honest-to-goodness working time travel. The portals. I'd forgotten about them. Emerald told me how Lab D had been working on them. If they can make portals here, that was our hope. Impossible. Hazel had taken a step forward, looking Healing Herbs in the eyes. And you're an idiot if you think that is ever possible. A golden glow enveloped Healing Herb's horn, and she grinned, activated Sats, and time flipped the fuck out. I could see Healing Herbs move in 5 different ways, and Hazel become an unrecognizable blur. The Curies were flying back, smashing into coils and being shocked by the electricity. The technical screen was not working. When I concentrated, I could move my legs. The sensation was odd, like my entire body was asleep. As I pushed myself between Healing Herbs and Hazel, deactivating Sats, Hazel stumbled backwards, and the golden glow on Healing Herb's horn vanished. That was new. I shook my head, trying to get the sleep feeling out of my neck. Before any pony does anything rash, may I make a suggestion? No pony answered me, so I took it as a yes. If you can make portals here, then can you make one to the Overmare's office? Healing Herb scoffed. Yes, but what's the point of doing that? I had to think fast. Convincing Healing Herbs to do anything, that was going to be a problem. Except Probator was probably in charge. To keep the stable safe? If Hazel takes control of the stable, then we can get rid of Thorn. With Thorn gone, you'll have more time to test out the spell before saving the world with it. The translation was that if Probeater sent Hazel to keep the stable safe, then she would have an easier time taking over the stable. There was another pause. Healing Herbs looked back at the large storage box-like room on the wall. I guess it was where all the controls were. Yes, that sounds right. She waved a hoof, and 2 ponies in the box moved around. Hazel stumbled back to all fours. You can't be serious! Hazel, trust me. Go help the stable. There's nothing you can do here. You can do something up there. In the center of the room, the air itself seemed to tear. It opened up, and in it I could see emerald fields and Cloudbank. The 2 looked back at me in shock. You 3 just go. Hazel and the others gave me a look of resignation before walking through the portal. This was all over our heads, but at least I knew why. Turning on my broadcaster, I sighed. Thorn has teleported her army into Labs D. I don't see any way to fix it, but with Hazel, you all have a chance. The fuck is going on, Slow Trot? What about Healing Herbs and you? I don't care. Get over here now. Cloudbank came in loud and clear. Sorry, but I can't. Thorn put a bomb collar on me. She said she'd let me go if I got Healing Herbs for her. She's probably going to kill me no matter what happens. I turned the broadcaster off and watched as the 3 others safely made it through the portal. Turning to Healing Herbs, I gave her a little wave. You can drop the act now, Probeater. The portal closed with a snap, and the Madmare look of Healing Herbs dropped into a neutral, irritated look. I see that you remember. How much? I smiled. Everything. She frowned. Impossible. I had to call that was important. Even the memories about me. I laughed. You're not as smart as you think you are. But then if you were, you would never have been beaten by Celestia and thrown into Tartarus. A wave of magic hit me, sending me sliding across the floor. Thou was never privileged to such knowledge. Her voice echoed over the 5 seconds before fading. I struggled to get back on all fours, but all the abuse was starting to catch up to me. I was slightly overweight average pony, and now my muscles were starting to scream at me to give up. Hitbugs are fascinating things, don't you think? Probeater lifted me up in her magic. Looks like I'll have to strip that knowledge from you again, but this time I'll leave you with nothing. The sound of a radio crackling, breaking the tense air, stirred as I was having a moment with Probeater. Oh, hello? Healing Herbs, or whatever you're calling yourself. It was Thorn. She was talking through the bomb collar. So, you did make a mega spell chamber, just like the OIA thought. And here I was worried about it going to be some pathetic teleportation spell. Glad it's the former. Probeater dropped me. The insolent ones speak. Have you forgotten my answer? I remember not hearing a no. Miss Healing Herbs, your talents are wasted here. If you just come with me, you'll have everything you ever wanted. I want to strip every secret from your mind and leave you nothing but a husk. Laughter crackled from the collar. So that's it then. I will enjoy seeing you being raped repeatedly as we extract everything about the megaspells from your head. Enough of this. A wave of magic hit me again. The bomb collar was cut from my neck and sent flying. It exploded with a pop. And now for you. One can never have enough drones. I hit Sats and Time freaked out again. But this time, something was different. Next to Healing Herbs was a mare that looked like the female version of myself. It's time, Slow Trot. It was Fragment. Time for what? Fragment, what is it time for? She lifted her hoof and rotated it. Her movement looked like breaking glass that reformed into itself, making the legs shimmer. You know what? It's the only thing you can do to stop her. Well, probably not the only thing, but ask yourself this. How smart are you? And how much time do you have to come up with a better solution? I have plenty of time right now! Everything shifted and I was back in the whorehouse. June was on the ground, and Thorn with a gun to her head. It's true that you have time to think, but what action can you take with that time? It shifted again to the security. A line of bullets were going through Underbrush's back legs, and bullets coming from the Griffin's minigun. Time and Sats isn't real time. Another shift and I was back in the lobby, looking at myself, shooting the battle rifle at Leo's back. When you have more real time, you have more options. Everything turned to the Megaspell chamber, but now I was standing in front of healing herbs. So, I have to stop Probeater, but how? Bregman took her hoof into my bag. You remember the tale of the Nightmare Moon? How Luna became possessed and had to be banished to the moon? Now imagine a new Nightmare Moon, one who is hidden from the light, and with access to the future of Equestria. Chekhov's promise was placed in front of me, floating just before my face. Could I just break the Megaspell chamber? Can you dodge a wave of magic? Could I just knock her out? She's already asleep. Fuck this! Fuck you! And in the end, you will do it. I couldn't let Probeater roam free, of which she needed Healing Herb's body to do it. I could not let Thorn gain knowledge of the Megaspells, of which she needed Healing Herbs to do it. I wanted to say that my gut churned, that I was the hardest thing that I've had to do in the world, that I hesitated just a second before shooting. I was in Sats, and after taking the gun out of my mouth, I selected to shoot it. Twice. Right into Healing Herb's heart. Bang. Bang. I put Chekhov's promise back into the bag, and looked over at Probeater. Two golden eyes looked at me with shock, and the gold was gone. Minty green eyes of Healing Herb blinked, filling up with tears. She fell to the ground. I did it again, didn't I? I messed everything up. I always mess everything up. I sat down next to her, her breathing slowly becoming shallow, blood dripping from her mouth and chest. I didn't want to say or do anything, so I just sat there and let her talk. It was all my fault. I suggested that if one Alacorn can heal with a spell, then 5 can make a bigger spell. We made the strongest healing spell to ever exist, and look what happened. She coughed up blood. I only wanted to help. Her breathing now had a gargling sound to it, and tears soaked her coat. Please, don't let her take it. She will kill so many. I took a deep breath, and looked her in the eyes. She looked back at me. Don't worry. I will not let her have this. It's a promise. Healing Herbs closed her eyes and simply stopped breathing. She had died. And now, I was crying. Getting back to my hooves, I galloped over the control box, pushing the ponies inside out of the way. I looked over the control board and as it froze. How the fuck do I work this? A hoof pulled me to the side, and I found myself staring at a corpse. Fucking walking corpse. Part of its face was missing, and blood stained its stable barding red. Its voice gargled, and it made sounds until it formed words. I will not let a simpleton best me. It was Probeater. She was controlling the dead pony. So I struck it hard with my hoof, and Navy bucked it, the other one as it came from behind, knocking both of them out of the box. I couldn't just randomly flip switches and hope for the best, but I knew nothing about Megaspell chambers, but I did know a bunch of smart ponies. I switched on the broadcaster. How do I make a Megaspell chamber explode, but without the explosion? Godbang's voice came up. You mean an implosion? Wait, what are you doing down there? The two corpses were getting back up, and they were now being joined by others. I pulled out Chekhov's promise and fired 5 shots at them, but it didn't do much. So I put the gun back in my bag. Well, I'm trying to keep an ancient nightmare from escaping from Tartarus, and trying to keep an insane admiral from getting access to a Megaspell chamber. The situation for both happens to be the same thing. There was a sound of a scuffle from the other side. Emerald's Field spoke up. This is insane, Slow Trot. Just get Healing Herbs to open the portal again and get out of there. She's dead. Now, tell me how to do this implosion thing, or I start flipping switches. Closing the little door to the box didn't help much to stop the zombies.
I will see you suffer. Suffer as I strangle the light from the world.
The fuck was that? Emerald, meat, probeater, one pissed off nightmare controlling a bunch of dead bodies. I bucked another zombie, but now they were packed in together, so the one I hit just dangled there. So some help here, please? Shit, I have no fucking clue. Wait, that might work. You still have June's pitbook, right? If you plug it into a terminal, I should be able to control it from here. I looked over at the panel, and I had the ports that I needed. One of the zombies got in, so I entered SATs, time, and was messed up, but the tactical options were still working normally. With luck, the options to pull out and attach the pitbuck were there. So, with the precision of a unicorn, I plugged the pitbuck in. The zombies were now getting too close for comfort, so I ran over then and out of the box, and hit the floor. My body still hurt like fuck all over. Luckily, the zombies were slow. Even limping, I was able to put some distance between me and them. It's in. Just don't tell me I have to go back into that box. It's full of moving corpses. What did you say? No, never mind. You're fine. I should be able to adjust the controls from here. You need to grab the 2600 and use this teleportation spell. I'm sending a signal to it, so just activate the spell and you'll be teleported right to the Overman's office. The pulsing of the room became far more faster, and the humming died down. I didn't know what it meant, but I had to guess it was Emerald at work. I felt a sudden pull. Looking over, I saw some random junk being pulled in the center of the room. Shaking it off, I pushed myself over to Healing Herb's body. 2600 had loosened its grip on her leg, and was off. I had tried to turn it on, but nothing would work. Fuck. What's wrong? I think I have to put the 2600 fucking protective programming.
You will suffer greatly!
Oh, fuck. Two black claws reached out from the center of the room and began to push open a black hole in the floor. Now the pull of the center of the room was even stronger, pulling even some of the zombies in. What's going on? I put the 2600 off of Healing Herb's body, slipped it onto my right leg, pushed it down on the lock. You better do that in position thing now, soon. Because, host or no host, Probator is breaking out of Tartarus right now. I saw Healing Herbs, Pitbuck 3100, clamped to her barding. Figuring it might be useful once I was back in the Overmare's office, I took it and threw it in my bags. My vision blurred for a second, then a sharp pain went through my right leg, and moved through my body. The asshole of a Pitbuck was back on. Suddenly, the pull to the center of the room became much stronger, and I started to slide. The corpses were now all being dragged to the center of the room. The containers of rainbow liquid crackled, and some burst. Pushing myself back to the control box, I used what I could to get myself stable. Then I started to flip through the programs. The pulsing had become so fast that it was now just another hum. The electric bolts were now just a solid chain. With a bang, the door to the hallway burst open, and one of Thorn's troops jumped in, only to slide on the ground and into the hole. The suction had become so strong, and blood and trash were being sucked in like a vacuum. Slow Trot, get out of there! Wherever the portal is sending everything, it's about to send everything back. Just a moment. I need to send something before I go. Getting up, I plugged in the 2600 to the terminal, took the files that Probator stole from the Overmare's office, and uploaded them to the terminal. I just put some files out. Do you see them? Yes, but some of it looks corrupted. Just get out of there now. Right. I'm activating the teleportation spell. Emerging from the black hole was the head of a massive black dragon. One of its golden eyes were as big as myself. She opened her massive maw and slowly moved towards me. The inside of her mouth looked like an endless abyss of darkness. I literally pissed myself. I hit SATs one last time. Everything stopped. Selected the teleportation spell. It latched onto a signal emerald that I couldn't have guessed Emerald had set. And I pressed enter.
Not without me!
Black hooves wrapped around my neck, and everything faded to darkness. Footnote. Quest complete. End of time. Save file corrupted.